on Facebook. And, you know, I probably do this webinar every 6 months because, let's face it, things change. You know, if we think back to about 3-4 years ago, I was doing webinars telling you guys to do contests and, you know, trying to kind of draw people into the pages by giving away gift cards and stuff like that. All of that stuff now is pretty much, I believe, illegal, at least on Facebook. If you read the terms and conditions, you're really not supposed to be giving things away to promote people clicking like and stuff like that. So my point is this stuff constantly changes. And with that, your strategy for your agency needs to change. And you need to kind of keep with the times and keep with understanding what's working and what's not working. So the last time we chatted, you know, we kind of went through a few basic things. We talked about, obviously, just inviting your friends to become fans, making sure that you go through each employee who works there, if you have multiple employees at the agency, having them become admins on the page and having them invite their friends. Obviously, making sure your page is active, that you have daily posting on there. It's hard to get fans when the page hasn't been posted on in, you know, 3-4 months. People see that and they don't see the value. We talked about having a pre-written message that you can email to people all across social media, whether it's on LinkedIn or Twitter, just kind of telling people, you know, this is our page, this is what it offers, this is how you get what it offers. You know, we talked about that in detail. And then most importantly, we talked about if you have multiple employees, just making sure they're all on the same page. You know, you would be surprised how many agencies I've kind of dealt with where the people who are really in the trenches, the people who are really talking to the clients, they don't even know they have a social media presence or what it offers. So obviously, if you do have multiple employees, making sure that maybe 3 times a year or 2 times a year, you do have a staff meeting, you do cover it, and you do explain to the employees what's expected of them and what they should be doing to promote it. So that's what we talked about in the past. What I want to talk about today is a few more really advanced concepts, things that are really going on right now, you know, with some of these agencies that have 5, 10, 15, 20,000 followers amongst Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So I think it starts, and this is where I see a big weakness. It starts with having what I call a consistent message. So people always say, well, what does that mean? What does this message mean? What the message means is that if you're going to promote these pages, it's not good enough to say, hey, I have an agency Facebook page. I'd like you to become a fan. Go and click the like button to get my messages, or go follow me on Twitter, or connect with me on LinkedIn. It's not good enough to just say that. That may have worked 10 years ago, but again, we've progressed. We've evolved. And the savvier agencies, you know, have a little bit more than just like us, connect with us. So I think my point is the first thing you need to determine is okay, what's the value proposition? What do we promise these people? What are we giving them? If we're telling them it's a value-added service, what is the value that we give them from our page? And I think the fun part about it, because guys, social media needs to be a little bit fun. The fun part about it is it can be anything. It doesn't mean you have to just say, hey, we offer, you know, Medicare updates, or we give you auto insurance tips. You don't have to just do that. I mean, it can be anything. You know, I see some agencies that really rely on, on humor and comedy. I've seen others that do sports insight, and they try to get all their clients talking about the local minor league baseball team and stuff like that. So I think my point is it doesn't have to just be insurance. Though, you know, going the route of insurance makes maybe some logical sense, it doesn't have to be. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it has to be something. You have to, if someone says to you, why should I like your page? What do I get? You got to give them an answer, and it has to be a consistent answer. So that's kind of phase one for the next tier of marketing. What are the big agencies doing? Well, what I have seen, and I've built quite a few of these, is we're starting to see a lot more of what I would call landing page marketing. So what's landing page marketing? Well, what landing page marketing is you going to GoDaddy, spending $12, and buying a web address, okay? And maybe the web address is something like on my screen, bobsinsuranceSocialMedia.com, okay? So it's a specific address. And where is this address going to go to? Well, it's going to go to a landing page. And that landing page is probably built on your current website. And the point of the page is really to promote the social media presence. And I'm not just talking about Facebook. Even though today's webinar is about how do we get more Facebook fans, really the goal is how do we get more people following us on social media. And just like I said early on, these things are changing so quick. So you don't want to, you don't want to devalue the other social media presences. But I think what I'm getting at is what you need to do, and what I see a lot of the top agencies doing, is building a page, and this may not be the best example. This is an old page I built for myself, but just kind of having a page like this that has Facebook, has LinkedIn, has Twitter, kind of has an overview on, what these pages offer. And if somebody clicks on it, they can go right into your group or your company page or your obviously your Facebook fan page. And you'll see that's kind of how I have it set up. But my point is it starts with getting a web address. Because when you get that web address, now you can market something, right? Maybe you get, like I said, Bob, and that's kind of a little long, but maybe it's just kind of get social with BRB Insurance or whatever, .com. You get that web address, now you can market it. You can put it, obviously on your business cards. And this is kind of a thing I start to notice. People start to get involved with social media. They got Facebook, they got LinkedIn, they got Twitter, they got Google+, they got Pinterest, they got YouTube, they got a million social medias. So in their email signature, they got a million of these things. Or on their business cards, they got a million of these things. Wouldn't it make sense just to get rid of all those things and just have one address, getsocialwithOurAgency.com or something like that, where the people can go to that page. The page we're creating, guys, is going to be a sub-page of your website. It's not like it's its own unique website, but it has its own unique web address, hence the landing page. And again, this isn't something you have to do. This is just something I see a lot of the larger agencies doing. They're starting to come up with marketing campaigns about their social media presence. And obviously on this page, it's going to be specific. It's going to tell people the value proposition. What do they get if they connect with you on social media? It's going to explain how to connect. And again, it gives you something to market via email marketing, traditional mailers, newsletters, even cold calling. I mean, I've actually had some agencies that have had cold calling campaigns, and it catches people off balance. Hey, can you go to our social media website and connect with us? This is what we offer. It's free. There's nothing we need from you other than we're going to offer you sports tips on the local minor league team, whatever. It gets people to kind of, again, connect and get some part of the distribution, which is what they're after. So, again, the thing with social media is and I always kind of say I'm always into these gold rush shows and these gold rush movies. And one of the things they always talked about during the gold rush was once you heard, if you were down in the lower 48 states and you heard about where all the gold was, by the time you got there, the people had already moved on to the next thing. And that's kind of like social media. When you start to hear about all these great things people are doing that are super successful, it's already kind of come and gone. And in my opinion, this is like the next thing that's happening. There's very few. It's really happening at the elite level where these big corporate agencies are doing it. The small companies aren't. In my opinion, it makes sense because it gives you a consolidated area. You can market all the social media presences you want. It's all in one nice condensed page. And again, it makes sense because you're giving people the value proposition and they can see what they're getting. And it's going to convert a lot better than just saying, oh, go to our Facebook page and like us. The consumer hears that from everybody. Let's face it, it's oversaturation. How many commercials do you watch when at the end it says like us on Facebook? Everyone's saying that. It's come and gone already. So, I know a lot of you are probably saying, wow, it's going to take a lot of work to do all this. I was hoping Ken had some sort of magical thing I could just buy people, buy fans or something. No, sorry guys. Again, we've kind of grown here to the next level with social media. It's becoming more and more complicated, unfortunately, which is good in some ways because if you've learned and you've progressed over the last few years, you're going to have an advantage over the people that still don't even know the basics. But anyway, just to kind of review, try to stay away from, I call it begging for fans. these giveaways, these contests, they really don't work anymore. I believe on Facebook it is actually illegal. I mean, I see people doing it, but the last thing you would want is to get your agency page shut down. I mean, I can't imagine. That would be, for me, almost crippling. And, you know, again, the obvious, make sure you keep posting 5 days a week and, you know, keep repeating those other steps, which is getting connections, inviting friends, you know, and obviously marketing the pages at a higher level. So I just have some questions of people saying, can you give us examples of some of these pages? Yeah, I think the simplest example I can give you is kind of this page I had here, which again isn't aesthetically the greatest page ever. Let me see if I can find it. But it's just, again, something simple. I imagine this 10 times because I have built a few, but I don't, let's put it one way. I don't like to kind of show off people's sites that we built for them. There is some privacy there when these people are coming up with these ideas, so I don't like to mass produce their ideas. But this was kind of my idea 5 years ago. I haven't spent the time to redesign it. But I think my point is your agency is going to have a website, and you should have a page just dedicated just for social media that, again, has all the social media pages on it, has your value proposition, tells the people what they get. What do we get? You know, this is what you get for free as a value-added service of our agency if you connect with us. And then also has kind of what I call first-grade instructions on how to get it. Because, again, you would be surprised how many people really have no idea how social media works, but they use it every day. So I'm not saying you insult their intelligence, but you make it really simple, and you kind of say, hey, look, go to facebook.com/BobsInsurance. You'll see a little like button in the middle of our graphic next to our office building. Click that button, make sure you're logged into Facebook, and now you will get our free value-added service. You know, just kind of like instructions like that under each icon. I think that helps you increase the conversion. And that's kind of part of this. It's always about having the best odds to increase the conversions. So guys, hopefully this was helpful. Next week we are going to be talking a little bit more about this again. There is kind of a third advanced level which I'm seeing, and I will go through that. And then the following weeks we're going to talk a little bit more about LinkedIn, some stuff about Pinterest, and then blogging. And then finally, at the end of the month, we're going to really focus on some of these pay-per-click advertising stuff that's really, you know, taking off, especially on the, believe it or not, the senior products. So I will send all this stuff out to you, and we'll go from there. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.